Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. I hope you're all keeping well and busy behind the camera. Well, it's Wednesday evening, 7:10, sun's shining, there's a few clouds in the sky, but I'm heading out further than normal. Not been out this far for, well, over 2 months since lockdown started, so feels a bit strange, but I'm sure we'll be alright. And now we're allowed, so all good on that front. Yeah, so I'm heading west towards Durdle Door, that's the plan. Jurassic Coast, some lovely rock formations. I'm sure you know of Durdle Door. There's a nice rock formation that goes out into the sea with an arch at the end. So plan is to capture sunset over Durdle Door rocks, hopefully, fingers crossed, all being well. See how that goes. Might do a star trail from there or the Milky Way. We'll see how we get on. And then I'm going to head a bit further west to Portland Bill Lighthouse, and there's some nice rock formations to the left there. So again, perhaps have a go at the Milky Way or some star trails over the rocks, and then might try and grab a bit of Portland Bill Lighthouse as well. I know they've just changed the bulb for an LED bulb, so that'll be a bit different. So hopefully we can still get some beams coming off the lighthouse, and again some nice star formations, and hopefully the Milky Way. So yeah, that's the plan. Fingers crossed the cloud stays away. There's a bit of cloud in the sky, but not a lot. Forecast is good, so we should get a nice sunset if nothing else. So job's a good one. See you there. Well, what a trek to get here. I didn't really think they've got a one-way system in, obviously for social distancing, and it took us right round the farmers' fields, at least 2 miles to get here, instead of the usual sort of half a mile from the car park. But we're here now. Sun's actually setting behind the hillside, so we're not going to get the sun setting. And I also forgot about the ships, the cruise liners that are parked in Weymouth Bay, so they're in the frame as well. But we're here. We'll make the best of a bad job and get a few frames, and then we'll head over to Portland Lighthouse. Sky's still a bit bright at the minute, but hopefully we'll get a nice orange haze soon. I say we're not going to get the sun, but should make a nice frame. Still worth coming. So I'm just making my way down the steps. I'm going to try and get a nice silhouette of the Durdle Arch, and the frame was nice up there, but I was losing the arch and the sky was still quite bright and burning out, so I'm going to head down to the water's edge and see if I can get a nice silhouette. As you can see, lovely spot down here. So I've just popped the 10-stop filter on just to bring the light right down. I've put the shutter speed to 30 seconds and I've knocked it down to f5.6. I'm just trying to get that water lovely and smooth. See how this looks. 30 seconds seems a long time when you're waiting. I've just come down to the water's edge now, just to try and get a nice low angle, just see if I can get a nice silhouette. The sky's turning a nice orange now, so get as low as I can to the water's edge and try and get as much of the arch out of the water as I can. Well, not too bad in the end. Not quite what I was after with the sun setting behind the hill, but still made the most of it and got some nice silhouettes, I think. So I'm going to head back to the van now. I've got about a mile and a half's walk, and it's just turning dark now. So head back to the van and make my way over to Portland Bill Lighthouse. See you in a bit. Certainly gets your fitness up going up these steps. Cool. Who needs Joe Wicks every morning? Whew, worth the climb though. Crikey. Have a couple of minutes here. Just look at that view. Oh, puffing like a butcher's dog. See you again, Durdle Door. Whew, here we go, back to the van. Job's good un. Well, I've got to the lighthouse, as you can see, and met up with a good friend and colleague, James Marsh, who's also joined me for the night session, as it were. So we're just going to make our way. I'll stop walking before I trip up. Just going to make our way quite a distance from the lighthouse, just get some rocks in front of us and try and get a nice wide angle shot of the lighthouse, and perhaps do a bit of light painting on the rocks as well, see how we get on. But I've got the 1DX, as you know, always shoot on the 1DX, and the 17 to 40 f4, so we'll give it a go now. Well, it's a nice frame that is. I'll put it up here in a minute, but lovely wide angle frame. I say wide angle, I'm at 40mm, which is the max on this lens. We've come a fair way away, as I said, and so I've got ISO 400 f4, and it's a 30-second shutter, and it's really brought the stars out nicely. So really nice combination of the lighthouse and the stars. So really happy with this frame, brilliant. Well, this frame's a bit different. I put the 70 to 200 2.8 lens on just for a bit of an experiment. Obviously I'm at 200mm for this frame, and at 2.8 at 3 seconds at ISO 5000, and I was trying to get the lighthouse without the beam, and eventually I managed to work out the sequence of how the light was flashing and get a 3-second shutter burst without the lighthouse beam coming on, and it adds quite a nice effect to the lighthouse without the light, if you like. It's really enhanced the sky around it and the stars, and that red beam that's shooting out of the lighthouse looks quite cool as well. So just thought I'd try something different and put the 70 to 200 in and go tight, and it's worked quite well. So yeah, chuffed with this one. I'm enjoying this, it's great fun. so we've had a go at a bit of light painting, and I think this works quite well. I'm back on the 17-40 again at f4, ISO 1600, 10-second shutter, just to allow us a bit of time to light paint the rocks in the foreground, and it works really well. I quite like this frame, it's great. Really enjoying this, having a bit of an experiment. I'm getting into this nighttime photography too much. When's the sport going to come back? There's actually an old crane. You can't quite see it. There's an rusty old crane that I don't know if they still use it or not. There's some fresh ropes around there, so they might use it just to lift stuff out of off boats in this cove just here. We're not sure, but we're going to give it a go at light painting the crane just for something different, just to have something in the foreground as well as a lighthouse in the background. So I'll turn this light off and we'll have a go at light painting this crane now. Right, we're just going to move a bit further towards the lighthouse now. There's a nicer rock area where the tide's washing in, so we're just going to move around there now and try and grab a bit of the green rocks and that if we can. We did shine the torch along there earlier and you could see there was some green rocks, so that might make a nice frame. So we'll just move around there and catch up in a minute. Oh, this frame works lovely. We've just put the shutter up to a 20-second f4, obviously at ISO 5000, and just painted all the rocks, including those green ones that we spotted with the torch earlier. So makes a lovely frame, this. And because we've moved a bit closer to the lighthouse, we've managed to get that building that's to the right of the lighthouse out of the frame that had the annoying security light on it. So yeah, we've just got the illumination from the main bulb now from the lighthouse, and all them green rocks that have been lovely and light painted. So really chuffed with this image. It looks really nice. Bit of movement out on the water out in the distance. Obviously there's an exercise going on. There's a few boats moving about, but we can Photoshop them lights out at a later date. But yeah, lovely sky with the stars, and yeah, smashing. Really chuffed. Right, well, we've just looked up and we can actually see the Milky Way with the naked eye. So that was one of the main aims, was to try and get the Milky Way. So we're just going to go the other side of the lighthouse now and try and get the Milky Way just coming over the lighthouse if we can. So we'll make our way over there. That's where I'm going, and see the other side of the lighthouse. So the battery's gone on the M50, so I've resorted to the iPhone now. But so we've moved a lot further round behind the lighthouse now, and the Milky Way is perfect. It's going to need a little bit of work in Photoshop just to bring the reds out a bit in the core, because the core's obviously down at the horizon. But as you can see in this frame here, this is an unedited frame before I've done any work to it in Photoshop or Lightroom. We're using Lightroom a bit. You'll be pleased to know, David. But yeah, so really happy with this as a totally raw frame, and I'll do some work on it obviously, and then I'll put the worked image at the end of the video. But yeah, we've moved right round the back of the lighthouse now and getting some brilliant results. Right, so we've moved just further round behind the lighthouse now. You see the Milky Way with the naked eye, and as you can see in this image here, this is totally unedited, this image that I'm about to show now. Milky Way looks great, and obviously with a bit of work in Photoshop, which I'll put an image to that next, it should look fantastic. So I'm just going to do one more frame. I'm on a 2-second delay still on the shutter, 30-second shutter, ISO 2500 at f4, seems to be doing it for us. So really chuffed with these results. So we're just going to move a bit further back, see if we can get a bit more of a wider angle, and job's a good one. Oh, jobs are good. We've got some lovely frames there, as you've seen, and I'll pop some more edited frames up before the end of the video. And yeah, really enjoyed that. Great to get the Milky Way. Been trying to get that for a few months now, as you know, so it'll need a bit of work in Photoshop to bring it out a bit, but sure, we can do that. And I took several frames at different ISOs to try and blend the two, because obviously to get the sky nice and bright and get the Milky Way in, you've obviously got to overexpose the lighthouse a bit, especially if you shoot it on a sequence where it flashes several times, it really does burn out. So I might have to do a bit of layering, but we'll have a go, and I'll pop that on the end of the video here. But yeah, job's a good one. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Not so good at Durdle Door, unfortunately, but hey ho, still nice to go and visit it for the first time. Not been there before, so I've got a few silhouettes, so that's the main thing. But yeah, job's a good one. So thanks for sticking with us. It's been a bit of a long video, this one, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button if you haven't already. And job's a good one, guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support on the channel. Take care. Catch up soon.